Well, hey friends, it's Rufus from Joy in the Land, and I am here in my greenhouse just celebrating another beautiful, beautiful March day. We've got a bunch of plants to plant today, and I wanted to show you some techniques that I use when I'm planting seeds directly into the ground, and a couple of those tools as well. I have an Earthway seeder I'm going to show you, and a Jang Seeder, and I'm going to kind of talk a little bit about the differences between the two, the strengths and weaknesses. I've got more seeding to do with my trusty dusty little baby blue over there. So, and then I've been working on transferring strawberries into rain gutters. I decided to try that method this year as opposed to having them on the ground. I had some in the greenhouse over here, and they just got totally out of control with weeds and the rodent pressure and the berry. I just never really got a very good berry off of them. So I'm hoping that by putting them in rain gutters, I can raise them off the ground and I can just manage them a little bit better. All right, let's bust out the Earthway and the Jang Seeder and get some stuff planted. All right, so we've got the Jang Seeder. I think we'll start off with radishes. And so we are looking for the appropriate seed plate. As you can see, you have different seed plates with different sizes of holes. So each one of these seed plates too is numbered up here. It's really hard to see, but they're numbered. So when you're taking notes on what you've planted, you can kind of reference that in the future. So it makes it a little bit easier when you're getting into your seeding. So you got your basket here, and of course this comes down and your seed disc just slides right into there, and you put your sprocket back in to hold your disc in place. Make sure your sprocket's on the right side to line up with the chain. Now I like to just close that up, and there's a little nut that screws into this area to hold that little opening shut. I'm gonna go ahead and dump a little seed in there. Just enough to give us a little sampling. And then I like to just hold my hand underneath it and spin the wheel and see how the seed comes out. And once you're happy with the calibration of it, you're good to go. So I'm ready to plant some radishes. So I almost forgot before I get going with the seeding, I have one more important tool that I use, and this is my fancy rake, marker rake. It was an old rake that was broken, and we just clipped off all the tines except for a couple evenly spaced tines. And so actually I use this nowadays to mark my beds so I get an idea of proper spacing for my rows. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that real quick, and then we'll be off and running. There we go, we got 3 nice evenly spaced lines that I can use as reference points while I'm seeding. Okay, I've grabbed my little Earthway seeder, and it's a really simple tool. It's really inexpensive. You can buy this at any hardware store, basically. And I've had this thing for 19 years. So, you know, that $100 has gone a long ways. Just a bunch of these plastic plates. I'm gonna seed salad mix with this thing, and so I gotta find the appropriate plate. And the plates are also labeled. You know, some of these things that they have on there, again, these are not really good tools for carrots or turnips or any of these things. This would put those seeds on way, way, way too thick. But for salad greens, because I want them on thick, this thing works just great. So you got your little seed plate selected, and there's grooves in the hopper here And you just mash them up with the grooves and then twist it back, and then that locks that seed hopper in place. You can adjust the depth that you want to plant the seed with this little shoe down here, and you can adjust that depending on what you want to do. I'm going to go ahead and go with about a ½ inch or so worth of depth. Okay, tighten that down, and then get your custom salad mix blend from some reputable seed company and dump it in the hopper. And then these little scoops will just kind of scoop the seed up as I'm moving along. Okay, I've got my beds marked. Now, time to seed. And it's just as simple as walking along and letting the hopper do its work. As you can tell, if you're in a really nice seed bed, it basically takes zero effort at all. I'm just doing this with one hand, and that's because my seed bed is so nicely worked and just really good garden soil. Pretty impressive, huh? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right.